Hey guys, Happy New Year! Hope you guys had a wonderful and safe holiday season, and welcome back to the first video of 2018. And in this video, we're gonna talk about, well, the radio. And I know nowadays video is all the rage, but radio has proven itself to be an indispensable tool for communication, especially in times of war. Now, during the First and Second World War, for example, radio technology enabled military forces to communicate with their troops on the ground, their fleet in the open water, and their flying fighter planes in the sky. And when transmitted messages ran the risk of getting intercepted by enemy forces, uncrackable ciphers were then devised in order to send coded radio transmissions, ensuring that all information remained secure. Now, outside of the battlefields, radios became a staple appliance inside every single household in the US and the rest of the world, keeping the public updated about news, and especially at that time, news about the war. And nowadays, radio stations, they're more about playing music or talk shows. I mean, there are newscasts out there, but predominantly music is what we listen to. So the olden days, when the radio's main purpose was to help further the war effort or protect national interests through facilitating communication, is really no longer as imperative. However, that does not mean that government agencies and military institutions have abandoned such intentions completely. Because today, there are several radio stations run by these organizations that are still operating from various locations across the globe. And a few of them have become the subject of much speculation because the nature of what these stations are broadcasting and the identity of the people behind them remains shrouded in mystery. And one of these mysterious and seemingly ghostly radio stations is the one more popularly known as the buzzer, which is also our main topic for this video. The buzzer is the moniker given to a shortwave radio station which broadcasts on the frequency of 4,625 kilohertz. Transmissions were first heard from this frequency all the way back to the 1970s, and for the last 40 years, listeners would hear monotonous buzzing sounds 24 hours a day, and the tune plays repeatedly at an estimated rate of 25 tunes per minute. The noise that plays in this frequency may have slightly changed over the years, but it always features this familiar buzz tone. On rare instances that the noise is interrupted, a voice can be heard speaking, reading messages that really don't seem to make any sense. For many years, whenever a voice is broadcasted through this frequency, listeners will be greeted first by a thick Russian accent that reads out the station's identification, UVB76, before a list of code words and numbers is enumerated. And during that span of time, it is believed that the transmission have originated from a town named Poverovo, which is situated near Moscow. However, in September of 2010, the radio station transferred to a different location, possibly somewhere else in Western Russia. From then on, its call sign changed to MDZHB, only to be switched again in 2016 to ZHUOS. Now, as a short-wave radio station, UVB76 sends signals at a low frequency in contrast to those coming from local radio and television stations, as well as mobile phones. This allows the station to send messages at far-reaching distances, making it in an open channel that can be listened to by anyone from almost anywhere on this planet. And it is for this very reason that many regard the buzzer radio station as an enigma, because people may be able to hear the messages sent through this frequency and even maybe guess the location of its source, but it's really next to impossible to figure out who these communications are for and what they actually contain. So here are some theories about this ghost station. Ever since the public has been made aware of the existence of this radio station, several theories have been put forward which speculate on its true purpose as well as the identity of the organization that runs it. And the strangest and arguably the most unlikely theory about the buzzer is that it is being used as means to detect and communicate with extraterrestrials. But the theory that is gaining more ground than any other is the speculation that this radio station may be a number station. If you don't know, number stations are shortwave radio stations believed to broadcast encrypted messages to intelligence agents who are covertly operating in foreign nations. These stations usually transmit encrypted numbers instead of 5, and they can presumably only be decoded by the intended listener of the message who holds the keys to cracking it. Number stations are said to date back all the way to the First World War, and today the governments of the United States, the UK, and other countries like Cuba, North Korea are rumored to be still running several number stations of their own. The most well-known of these is the Lincolnshire Poacher, which is suspected to belong to the MI6. However, other shortwave hobbyists hypothesize that UVB-76 may not be a number station after all. They believe that the buzzer belongs to the Russian military and that its purpose could be to transmit encrypted orders to military units within Russian territory and really not outside of it. But of course, all this remains nothing more than conjecture, as the Russian military has managed to evade confirming that the radio station is indeed theirs. Another theory about the buzzer station that's particularly terrifying is that it may be a dead hand signal. A dead man switch system was supposedly used by the Soviet Union during the Cold War as a deterrent against a nuclear attack. According to the military doctrine of mutually assured destruction, the US would not risk using its nuclear weapons against Russia first if it means getting attacked by the same deadly weapon in return. Hence, in the event that human life in Russia is obliterated by a nuclear attack, its military's autonomous nuclear control system will automatically launch a wave of nuclear counterstrikes that will ensure the complete annihilation of their enemies. And this doomsday device is not completely far-fetched, especially when Russian President Vladimir Putin himself warned earlier this year that nobody would survive a nuclear clash between the US and Russia. Others, however, suggested that the buzzer may really just be a deliberate diversion. Its purpose may be that of misdirection, to have foreign military forces and intelligence agencies waste time and other resources in trying to unlock the mystery behind this ghost station, decode the encrypted but really meaningless messages that are transmitted through this frequency. So although there are many theories out there about what the buzzer radio station could really be, no one is closer to finding out with absolute certainty what its true purpose really is. But here's what we do know, is that someone out there has really been using this shortwave frequency to utter a series of numbers and letters from time to time, and maintaining this is not easy. So to me, these messages, they are deliberate, they do have a reason, we just don't know what it is. And personally, I think it's sort of a, I don't know, kind of like a Men in Black recruiting tool where if somebody does decipher it, they go to some secret location, Will Smith shows up, and next thing you know, you're putting on a black suit and you're saving the earth from alien attacks. I don't know, that's the best I can come up with. But let me know your thoughts about what this radio station does in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, happy New Year. I'll see you later.